Everybody, welcome to day 160, and we are reading John chapter 19, and we're going to read verses 1 through 27. And so here we see that Jesus is before Pilate still, and Pilate, despite his best efforts, cannot get the Jewish people and the religious leaders to agree to release Jesus. He has him flogged, which is where he takes the whip, which would be the cat of nine tails, and whips him on the back, and to the point where the flesh is coming off. And they put him in a purple robe and a crown of thorns, of course, as a mocking way to declare that he was a king. And many people believe that Pilate brings him back out dressed like this, and after his beating, so that maybe the Jewish people would have some sympathy and that they would say, okay, this was good enough, and Jesus was punished enough and he can be released. But as soon as he brings him out, the religious leaders begin to cry out, "Crucify him, crucify him." We see this hatred for Jesus in these people's hearts and in their words. And we see that Jesus, despite what's happening, remains silent because he knows that this is his purpose and this is the cup he has to drink. And we see that throughout these scriptures that we've been reading and will continue to read. And Pilate brings Jesus back into him and says, because the Jewish people have admitted now that, well, King of the Jews, yes, but he also claims to be the Son of God. And so Pilate actually is fearful. And we know from Matthew that Pilate's wife actually has a dream that makes Pilate question even more. And so there's a hint that Pilate was afraid because he saw some truth into what Jesus, who Jesus said he was. And so it made him more leery about actually sending him to the crucifixion. But Pilate was swayed, of course, by the people, being somebody in a political position, and more so in a political position by marriage. And so he probably was worried about holding that position and keeping people happy. And so Jesus, of course, is sent to the cross. He carries his own cross to Golgotha and is nailed to it between two other robbers. And Pilate puts on the inscription above the cross that says, "Jesus of Nazareth, King of the Jews." And this was to identify the person, but also to put the charge against them. And of course, the Jewish people weren't really happy with the inscription because they thought it should say, not that he is the King of the Jews, but that he says he's the King of the Jews. And Pilate says, "What I have written, I have written." And in Roman law, once they had sentenced somebody and pronounced that sentence, then they could not change it. But part of us, as you read the scripture, part of you might think that Pilate halfway believed it, so he didn't want to change it. And so as Jesus is on the cross, we also see that he is still caring for others because he's looking on his mother, Mary, as she's there, as well as John, and says, "Behold your mother," and then, "Woman, behold your son." And it's creating this new relationship that John is going to care for Mary as his mother from this point forward. And so as we see this scene unfold and as it continues into the ultimate death of Jesus on the cross, we also see that Jesus's truth and his words ring true, and that his ultimate sacrifice and care for us and his purpose was being fulfilled in these moments, and that we also know that the pain of the cross was nothing compared to the pain of the sin that he was taking on. So as you finish up reading today, a heavy reading today, as we are focused very solely on the crucifixion and what that meant for us. But we celebrate with the hope of what's to come in the next few days. So, hope you have a good one.